Hey guys, so my friends and I played Dayz and it was so much fun. Once we actually met up, and I wish I streamed it because a lot of stuff happened that was just you couldn't script it. And I decided that I wanted to turn it into a little story, which I did. It's not the best story. It's probably not, you know, up to snuff to some people, but it was so much fun. I had to turn it into a little story. It's not that long. I wish I had video to back it up, but I will be putting pictures and maybe drawings if I have time. And if this does do good, whether it does or not, I'm making another one, but um, we're gonna probably do another one. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. I started to slowly come to. Not sure what had happened to me, but when I finally stood up, I got a look at my surroundings. I had my back to the ocean, and in front of me was a coastal town. It was pretty quiet for a town, but I headed in to find out where I was. The town was so barren, some buildings had their doors wide open, and there were mangled cars all over the place. I wandered around the town to see if I can find someone. Maybe they could explain what had happened. After 10 minutes of walking aimlessly, I finally saw someone. They looked hurt and were limping around, so I waved the person and asked if they needed help. As I asked the person, it turned around and stared at me. We were both silent. I was scared. The person looked so mangled, holes in their face and all over their body. They also looked like they were rotten. Then, suddenly, the monster screamed and ran at me. I panicked, but it was too late. The monster already was all over me, trying to claw and bite me. I punched the monster in the head, but it was unfazed. I did it over and over again, blood and parts falling off the monster's face, but it was still attacking. I held it away while I was looking around for something. To my left, there was a baseball sized rock, which I grabbed while making sure the monster wouldn't get me. I bashed the rock into the side of its head and threw the monster. The monster's body was lifeless. The rock had smashed through the other side of the monster's head. I got up, my hands covered in blood, and I looked around and saw a house with an open door, which I ran into. I shut the door and looked around the house. It was a small house with an upstairs floor. I looked around and found a damaged steak knife, some canned sardines, which I don't like, and a hoodie. I ended up using the knife to pry open the can because I was hungry. After I opened and ate some of the sardines, I realized my knife looked badly damaged from opening the can. I had to keep that in mind. Probably had one more use before it broke. I started looking through houses quietly. I was not trying to fight another monster, and the deeper I went into town, the more I saw. It started to get dark out. I decided to stay in an apartment, and I blocked the door with a shelf. The bed in the apartment looked horrible. Blood all over the mattress, the blankets seemed wet, a crusty pillow. So I decided to take the clothes out of the dresser and put them on the floor. I laid down on the clothes and closed my eyes. All I could hear was the groaning from the streets. It was sort of soothing, and it made me fall asleep. Later that night, I woke up to someone screaming for help, followed by the sounds of all the monsters. I got up and looked out the window to see a girl running along the road with a glow stick, lighting up the area. As much as I wanted to help, there were monsters behind her and monsters waking up along the road. There was no way I could save her. It hurt. All I could do was watch as the monsters finally caught up to her, and her screams kept going until it suddenly stopped. Troubled, I went back to bed. A week went by, and I explored every building in town. It was a hard week. I saw people kill each other, and I saw monsters kill those people. I was not sure if I could trust people here. People were robbing others. I kind of missed not seeing people at all. At least then I didn't have to worry about a group robbing me. I mean, it's not like I had much, just some food and a knife. Also, I did end up finding a small sledgehammer, which made monster killing way easier. I also found a red school backpack with a yellow ladybug on it. It might be a kid's bag, but it helps me a lot. Also, purple quilted jacket with some jeans, which made sleeping on that cold floor in the hotel a little more comfortable. I sat in the apartment and started thinking. The town I was in was running dry. There was a water pump which I was able to fill my water bottles with, but a group came along and owns it now. So I decided to get my stuff together and follow the road leading out of town, because it would be probably easier than starving or being killed here. So I started my journey and also started rationing my food and water. After a 2-day journey, I found another town, and all I had left was some water and food. I saw a police station with a water pump near it. I scoped the area a bit, then filled my water bottle. But as soon as I was finished, I heard talking, and it was getting closer. I hid in the nearby shed. They were talking about how easy it was to kill someone. They had killed 2 people who had nothing. After I heard that, and they went into the police station, I left. I followed the road going inland, but I was in the trees this time. I was not taking any chances. I ended up coming to a large city with tall apartments. There were loads of monsters everywhere, but carefully, I navigated around the place. In a school, I found a hiking bag and a sporter with 7 shots. Not sure why there was a gun in school, but I can defend myself from other people better now. Later that day, I ran out of food and was looking desperately for more around the area. It got so bad, I felt like my stomach was eating itself. I saw a greenhouse. They were surprisingly common. Pretty much every house had one, but a lot of the time they held nothing. I did get lucky and found some honey in one, but I saw plants in this one. I got really excited. I ran over and opened the door to see peppers everywhere. I shut the door and started grabbing peppers to fill my bag. Then I sat there eating all I could till I was full. I also decided to cut seeds out of some and grab some plant fiber to see if I can use it as fertilizer. As I was putting the last pepper into my bag, I heard a gunshot nearby. Even though I had a gun, I got out of the city, and I was following another road and found a small town. Could not read the sign, so just called it Pusta, because of the writing on the sign. It was a quiet town. A few monsters here and there, which I took care of. I also found a hoe and decided to make a pepper farm. I put the seeds and plant matter in, but didn't have enough water to give. So I looked around, and lucky enough, in the town there was a water pump nearby. I watered my plants and let them grow while I continued to look around. I really liked this place. Hard to find, had everything I needed. I was walking along the houses, then I heard a voice. My heart stopped, and I hid. He was asking if anyone was there, but the voice didn't sound right. So I followed the voice. It was in a house, and it came from a walkie-talkie. I held it as the person kept asking. But I felt like I needed someone to trust, and I would talk to this person to see if they're the one. I answered him, and he got excited. He said he's been doing this for weeks. I was skeptical on his excitement, though. I heard others trick people just to find them when I was in my apartment. So we talked and got to know each other over a month. Now I have a sustainable food source. My peppers are growing and I planted more. But I found it quite lonely. Talking with Alex was all the contact I had since I woke up on the beach. So I took a chance and told him where I was. And he knew where. There was a map over near him. I was really happy and scared. I could have just ended my life, or could have just made it better. Another month passed, and we talked as he made his way. Batteries started to become rare. I only found 10 full, and they were barely able to last a month. Now I find batteries with low power, so I told him that this was my last battery, and I did not have much time left. He said he should be close, maybe a day or two. The next 2 days seemed long. I was just farming, getting water, constantly looking in town for people. Then late at night, I heard walking. I grabbed my gun and pointed it out the window to see who it was. Alex and I had a code word. It was Pusta. No matter what I asked, he had to reply with Pusta. I then saw a person crouched behind a car looking around, and I decided to gamble my life and yelled, "I have a gun. I'm aiming it right at you. Do not move." It got really quiet. I was aiming at the car where the person was hiding. Then after a minute, he said Pusta, like he was not sure if that was the word. "Alex?" I asked. He popped his head above the car and said, "Hey, it's you." I did not stop aiming at him and asked him what my name was. I never told Alex my name, mainly because I don't have one. But just in case someone overheard on the radio, I just wanted to make sure. "You don't have a name," Alex replied. I told him he could come inside. He ran in, and it was weird having someone around. But I offered him food and told him I was an expert farmer. He nodded while he ate. I wanted to give him a good reason not to kill me and to keep me around. But it was the longest night ever. I'm sure we both got no sleep thinking the other was going to kill the other. But we ended up sleeping in. I was the first to wake up and got to my duties collecting peppers and filling water bottles. Also left my gun with no ammo next to the door just to see if he would take it. Around lunch, he woke up and just walked outside to greet me and find out where the water pump was. And after that day, I began to trust him with my life. A month later, life was simple. We explored nearby towns and had everything: food, water, and company. When we got back from looting a small town, Alex turned on his walkie-talkie and almost dropped it when we both heard a voice come through. The person was talking about waking up on a beach and scared. He was hiding from zombies and needed help. I assumed zombies were monsters. Zombies did sound better than saying monsters all the time. We ended up taking a chance and talked to him. He said his name was Tarek. We ended up talking him out of the situation and told him where we were. And it was not easy. He got lost in a month. And it was not seeming like he'd be making it to Pusta anytime soon. So, Alex and I decided to go get him. Kept in contact with him, and we made our way to a town called Shovo, which we nicknamed. We had to go through Shovo and over to what Tarek called Shinny. It was a really long trip. Along the way, Alex found a pristine AK, which became his baby, and a Crusader helmet, which he never took off. In the middle of the night, we saw someone down the road. Tarek was saying he was being chased by a group of zombies last time we talked. We got closer and the person was screaming for help. It was Tarek. Couldn't miss that voice. I told Alex to start shooting the zombies and we unloaded everything we had into that pack of zombies. After all that, Tarek thanked us and greeted us. I gave him a pistol with some ammo I found, which was a big trust moment there. He said thanks, and we talked as we headed back to Shovo. And when we got there, we all saw the big, beautiful police station and ran over. We killed a bunch of zombies, drank some water, then headed in. Found a pump-action shotgun and some pistols and ammo. That's when we heard a bunch of zombies scream, followed by a bunch of footsteps. An armed guy came running in through the front door of the police station. Alex, with no hesitation, mowed him down with the AK. We were all surprised. It was our first kill. And not even 10 minutes later, another guy showed up. He said, "There's my dead body," and started grabbing stuff. But then Alex proceeded to light him up again. While Tarek and Alex were looking around for more stuff we could take, I started thinking, was that the same guy, but in a different body? Seems like he could not remember where we were, but remembered where he died. After that, I told the others that there was a good chance that when we kill people, they lose all memory of how they died and everything that they were, but they'll remember key things like where they died, their body. They recognize some of the other things. It was a weird thought for sure, but the guys did not believe me. Hell, I didn't even believe myself. We ended up following a dirt road inland and had a great time. We ended up entering a place called Tolga, which we took a liking to. We were near Shovo, which we were able to loot whenever, but we were also secluded enough to where it'd be hard to find us. So we called it home. Over the years, we built it up, had some fenced pillars, but never found enough nails to put planks on them. We got some farms made and got some new crops like zucchinis, potatoes, tomatoes. We had everything: water, food, and friendship. And I even got a name: James. Every now and then we looted Shovo, started making boxes so we can store more things, and Alex ended up hearing about a military complex a little bit away. So we grabbed a map, I got crops and food, and some fish fillet, because Tarek became an expert fisher, and fish was the way to go. We headed off for our longest trip ever. We saw some sheep for the first time, and also ate sheep for the first time. It was delicious. And we ended up dicking around with smoke grenades. I ignited 2 smoke grenades and put them on me. One white, one yellow. You could not see anything. We had a lot of fun with that. Then we finally got to the military camp, and I deemed myself the Nav Nanny because of my navigational skills. We quietly killed all the zombies in the camp, and got some ammo for a new pistol and attachments. We headed back home to Tolga, and just enjoyed life, looting Shovo, setting up camp. And in the next coming year, some people found us. They had guns, but looked relatively new. Alex killed on sight, which at that point was fine. We kept the sanctuary safe. Then Alex killed a guy and decided to cut him up and cook his human flesh. We were all waiting for more crops, and Tarek's fishing line broke. We were all starving, so we ate our first person. A week later, we started getting tremors, and it made it hard to aim. We also found a lot of stuff funny. Other than that, life was back to normal. We killed the occasional person who threatened us. One day, Alex woke up to see his baby was gone. He could not find his AK. We ended up sleeping at the police station that night. Someone snuck in and stole the AK, and some other things. We were surprised. We were not killed in our sleep. But Alex was mad. He had been through so much with that AK. We looted the town, and by the time we were done, it was night. We had not seen anyone in a bit, and Tarek and I decided to crack glow sticks and attach it to our vests, and we were joking and having fun. But Alex got so mad about losing his baby, so much so, he shot me in the leg with a rifle. But Tarek and I did not see who shot me. We threw our glow sticks, and I crawled up the hill while Tarek was watching my back. Alex disappeared into the night. We did not have any clue who shot us or where Alex was. The next day, Tarek was around base, and Alex showed up. And they got to talking. Alex told him he shot me. When I got back to base, Tarek told me it was Alex. But, though I wanted to, I did nothing about it. It would make me no better than him if I did something back. Alex and I talked, and after a month, we both forgot about it. I still trusted him with my life, because he was the first person I met, and my most trusted friend. Alex took a look at my map and saw an airfield, and said we should go there. So we headed off. We passed through 2 towns. Then we came across a radio tower. We were looking for a guard station, but we all wanted to go check out the radio tower. I wanted to climb it. As we walked up the hill, we were talking about how easy we've had it. And I said, one day we're going to get our fill of pain, but that's not today. Then we all got there, saw a busted tank, and found out it was a military radio tower. Tarek climbed up the small tower, and I climbed up the big tower, straight to the top. And it was an amazing view. Talking to the guys on the walkie-talkie, I told them what I saw and how cool it was. And that there was a building down the hill just next to the tower. Looked like a military base, and the boys went to go see what it was. I was climbing down from the radio tower, and we were joking and having a nice time. But as I was getting to the last platform from the ground on the radio tower, a jet zoomed by. We all froze. I turned around to look. The boys asked what that was and walked outside. I turned around to see an explosion, and I thought it was just down the hill. They just barely made it. But that explosion, the dust slowly came down, and I instantly knew it was happening. I told the boys to get out of there. It was chemical gas falling on top of them. They panicked and ran the wrong way. They were in the cloud for 30 seconds. I was helpless. I was on top of the radio tower, hearing my friends panic over the comms. They made their way to me, and we huddled in the radio building. We started talking, and Alex vomited blood. We ended up finding out there was no cure. They were exposed for too long. We went outside, and I gave trisaline pills. They both took 2. Targ vomited blood and passed out after him saying, "I don't think we're going to make it home." Alex, when he was resuscitating him, I saw his soul leave his body. I started to get some key items, like the golden Desert Eagle I found for him, his holster, some machine gun plus ammo. Then I turned to see Alex's face, which I have not seen in years. His Crusader helmet was gently placed to the left of him. He was kneeling next to it. Golden Desert Eagle, the first one I have ever found, was in his hands next to his head. That Golden Desert Eagle had no mag, just 1 bullet. He always said he would either force someone to kill themselves with it, or he would kill himself with it. I pleaded to Alex not to kill himself. And his final words were, "I'm not letting this take me. I'm going out on my own terms," followed by a bang. I watched it as his body fell. I sat there looking at my friend's corpse. After a bit, I grabbed the bag, put on Alex's Crusader helmet, and started walking. For days I followed roads, thinking how good we had it. Till one day I decided to look at the map and saw we were just close to the airbase. I kept walking, through the rain and cold. I somehow made it on the road to Shinny. So I knew where I was. I headed into town broken, haunted by the death of my friends. But as I entered the town, I saw someone waving at me. I pulled out the Golden Desert Eagle and aimed it at his head. I was just going to pull the trigger, but then, out of the blue, he said, "James?" I paused, still pointing the gun at his head. We both were not moving, not getting any closer. "I remember that gun," he said. Then, I remembered in the police station how I thought when you die, you lose all memories of your past life, but can remember some important things from that life. And if this guy remembers this gun specifically, it must be Tarek. This was his gun. And he remembered my name. Tears started welling up in my eyes, which made it very hard to see out of the Crusader helmet. But I slowly got closer, and so did Tarek. Once we were close enough, I dropped the bag and gave him a hug. Couldn't help but cry a little. "You okay, James?" Tarek asked. "I'm more than okay now." I took off the helmet and wiped the tears off my face. And I looked behind him. Saw someone walking over pointing at me. "The fuck are you doing with my helmet?" he said. I realized that had to be Alex. And then in that moment, I felt so lucky. I found both of them, and ran over to give him a hug as well. He remembers me and the helmet. Probably more the helmet. Everyone emptied their stuff out of the bag, and I could not be happier. I put the Crusader helmet back on and started walking. "Hey, can I have my helmet back?" Alex said. I said, "I kind of want to keep it." I spent so long wearing it that I could not part with it. I turned around to see Alex raised his gun at me. I did the same. That's all I have. We stared for a bit, guns drawn. Then I just gave him the helmet. I was not going to lose him again. As I gave it to him, I felt lighter than I've been in a long time. We then were chatting and enjoying life once again, heading back to our home, Tolga. Hey, if you've made it here, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to me screw up speaking and telling you a story. I really wish we did stream it. Um, there is like a little video on the VOD's channel of the aftermath after everything happened. I don't know how long it is, but we were kind of all, mainly me, I was pretty shocked of what happened. So, um, I'll see you guys later.